The book I'm currently reading, the Gulag Archipelago, about the Soviet regime and the atrocities they have done to the people, torturing them in their concentration camps known as Gulag. Yeah, man, reading this book, I must admit, I'm kind of terrified. Many times reading this book, I just had to put it down, and because it's way too much, you know. Of course, you can continue read on, but these are very intense things. So many times I just find myself put the book down and think, what the hell? It's beyond any imagination. The absurdity, the atrocity, the terror that these people had to experience, and these were real cases, you know. It's so beyond and everything that, man, if I knew it wasn't for real, if I knew this book wasn't a case of real cases, you know, had actually happened, I would think, man, this writer is crazy to come up with so many absurd things. But I must say that, you know, I have read like a third part of it, maybe a bit more, third or half of the book so far. But so far this book had impacted me, and I could say even made a change in me, in the way I think and the way I am. Not just reading and reading, but like I'm saying, read and then think. How would you behave in a situation like that? How the world was back then. I mean, how the whole system was based on lie. And they were sending basically people after people, masses of people to those concentration camps in Russia. You know. So that made me think and reflect quite some. And one of the things is, you know, you read about very negative things beyond your imagination. Sometimes one recommendation I would have to you, one recommendation is definitely get the book and read it. It will do good for you. It will make you powerful. It will make you vomit at first, but then it will make you powerful. Because, why? And a second recommendation, don't read this book just after eating, because you may throw up. Or if you do have a bucket close to you where you can throw up. Because some of the things and atrocities, actually many of them, are so just inhuman and unimaginable that it just makes you feel sick, man. Just to imagine that, what they were doing for not one and two cases, but actually for thousands, 10,000s, hundreds, maybe millions of people, maybe less than millions. That's just beyond any imagination. I'm quite shocked reading this book, actually. And it all makes sense too, you know. You start thinking, actually makes you understand better human behavior, human psychology, human being, and kind of look to the eyes of the truth, so to say. Many times we don't want to see what is kind of painful and bad and terrorizing. And even the other day, well, actually quite some time ago, I posted on my Facebook page the atrocities that were done by Japanese on Chinese in Manchuria by unit, I don't remember, 50 something. That was just unimaginable too. So my brother, I posted it on Facebook. My brother wrote me a comment that I don't want to read this now because it's so negative that I don't want to be filled with this negative energy. That's what he said. That's what he wrote. That's true. When you face, and even by simply reading this book I'm talking about, the Gulag Archipelago, by reading this you face things that you would maybe prefer not to know they exist because it's just too terrifying, man. It's easier not to know. Just thinking about it will make you sick, man. Just thinking about it can make you sick. If you read this book with open mind, not just read to read, but actually imagine those things, you will get sick, man. So yeah, it's like you could say it's feeding on the negative energy, dwelling on those negative things and feeling this negative energy yourself. It's like, okay, making the negativity live in you in a way. In a way, maybe, but in the way these things exist. These things and these atrocities and these bad things exist in human nature as well. You can ignore it. You can say, no, it doesn't exist, I don't want to get negative. But these things exist. And on a large scale, it can be what you see, what you read in the book. But on a smaller scale, it's something that you see every day, but you maybe don't see it. Every day you see those same things, but you just don't see them. But when magnified, you can see where it leads to, right? So knowing those things makes you understand better what you're living actually today, and how your behavior, where your behavior leads you to, and where it leads the whole humanity actually. And at the same time, knowing the truth, knowing about that evil exists, and I don't like to use the word evil, knowing that bad things exist, evil exists, makes you powerful. If you are pretending and thinking that, no, it's all good, life, enlightenment, moksha, everything is beautiful, God is love, only love, concentrate on love, don't dwell on negative thoughts, don't even, ignore them. If you ignore them, then when it will come to you, and one day you will not know anything about it, and you will not know how to deal with it. And you will be a victim of that evil. You will be a victim of that persecutor. You will be a victim of a person wanting to rob you, wanting to rape you, wanting to humiliate you, wanting to cheat on you. You will not know what to do, and you will not have any faculty, any power in you to deal with that situation. You will be left stripped off. You will be left completely defenseless. Okay, is it still recording? Good, it's still recording. Even though it's again low on battery, come on, man. It gets low on battery very quickly. But at the same time, if you acquaint yourself with those things, you know about it, then you will know how to deal in those situations that may befall you any day. Any day, you will know how to deal it. If you know about that, if you know about that evil, and even if you get yourself a little bit of time or more time to reflect on that and reflect what would you do, how would you behave, where the situation would get itself into, then you will be very powerful. In the same way that, for example, I don't know if it's very wise for me to say this, but I have lived many things, and I have been also living in the circles of, I know people who commit crimes. I have seen those people. I have actually lived quite close by them, and even in my past years, my spiritual path, as you may know, started in a sect where I had to do things. I believed that I was doing it for God, but actually he made me do things were not good, and I had to be a thief, I had to be a robber, I had to go and beat people, I had to be a criminal, I had done things. Even though it was never in my heart and I cried all the time, but I did those things because I thought I was doing it for God. I hated it. But at the same time, being acquainted, being exposed to that, being it myself, being a robber myself, having to beat people myself, makes me know how it is. Makes me know what one thinks, makes me know what can be done, what cannot be done. And now, I'm no violent person. I know how these things work. So if somebody wants to rob me, I know what the motherfucker is thinking about. I know what can be done, what shouldn't be done. I know the situation. It's like easy water for me. I feel like almost like a fish in there. It's almost like entertaining for me. All those dangerous situations and all of those things, I understand them, It's not. I have my power. I have my options. I know what I can do. But the person who doesn't know about those things, person who doesn't know about how these bad people, how criminals, how robbers think, for example, what things are being done and so on, they don't know what they will not know how to behave in a situation when this bad situation befalls on them. They will not know what to do. They will be left completely defenseless. They will have no options. But if you know, you will have your options, and you will know what to do, and your life will be much better. It will give you a lot of power, man. You don't need to live it through the way I did. You don't need to do bad things to know how it is. You don't need to have a lot of experience of being robbed to know how to deal in such scenarios. There's an easy way, man, such as even like this. Read this book. I'm reading the Gulag Archipelago, and think about it. Think what you would do. Think what the persecutor would do. Think what. Just imagine it and draw your own conclusions, and those conclusions will kind of train you to. Will make you powerful and will train you to know how to deal in some situations that will most probably come to you sooner or later. So that was a long video. Take care. Take care, man. Or woman.